News Radio 700 WLW.
It's been a rip-roaring kind of weekend for us on all levels, and business shopping is up in the tri-state. Now, listen, I don't have anything in front of me that would lead me to say that from a factual standpoint, but I know what I see, and my eyes fairly deceive. There has been a lot of traffic in and around shopping areas and malls on this holiday weekend, and in a large sense, that's good. This is an important day. You just heard right before we came on, right after the news ended, that today is Small Business Saturday, where I think we are so charged to go out and support these businesses that are not big box stores. They're not some chain that just happens to drop an affiliate in our town. These are stores that are in our community, run by people in our community, and as we all know, in our community, here in the tri-state, Indiana, Kentucky, here in Ohio, it's been a rough go for small businesses since the start of the pandemic. Now, about 1/3 of Americans, just a little over 1/3, say they plan to shop on Small Business Saturday. This is a study that was done by CNBC and a company called Momentive Small Business Survey. 34%. Now, pre-pandemic support for local businesses was higher. It was going down as the years progressed, 44% in 2018. 39% in 2019, but this is a very, very important day, and a lot of small businesses are trying to make up ground lost over the course of the last year and a half because of COVID. Somebody that knows this very well standing by to weigh in. He is Tomme Sheehan, CEO of YOUnion. It's a company he created out of frustration to truly help small businesses during the pandemic. And over and above this, he has 30 years of experience building product for companies ranging from startups to Fortune 500 companies. And Tomme Sheehan, how are you on this Small Business Saturday?
I'm really good, Ken. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I want to go out. I am going to support small businesses today. When I'm done here on the radio, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do shopping, and I'm going to do it in stores that are operated in my community. But you know the seduction. The seduction is online shopping. It's Amazon. The product is ordered. It shows up at your doorstep. But maybe not on time, and maybe not right now in a supply chain problem. Talk a little bit, if you could, about the challenges small businesses face with this supply chain problem that the country is going through.
Well, currently today, inventory delays are driving prices upward. So small businesses have nowhere but to increase their price. And what you're seeing is, their inventories are based upon what they have. So they're not able to create, whatever's on the shelves right now, that's what they're selling for the holiday. And ultimately, right now it's great, right? So the last couple of days have been great. Sales are up between 8 and 10%.
Yep.
We're anticipating about $695 billion worth of spend. 70% of the consumers right now are actually going to shop local or going out in person, right? Mm-hmm. So they want to shop in the stores. So all those numbers are great. However, they have to make up for the last 20 months of being down 20 to 25%, in which we're going to lose 3 to 6 million businesses.
Mm. So Tomme, this is a problem then, because as you said, small businesses, you walk in a store, you see a product, oh, I like that. I'm going to come back next week and get that. I know exactly where it is. It could be gone next week. And over and above that, the pricing in small businesses, as you just mentioned, is higher simply because of the supply chain and because of what we've gone through the last year and a half. Well, then, what's the workaround for small businesses then, or, besides loyalty that people like I might have to the companies that own and operate in my town?
Well, ultimately, they have to get really clever, right, and innovative, which is basically what they're doing. They're having to change the ingredients on their products, or they're coming up with different kinds of bundle deals. Ultimately, it's about selling everything that they have in the store. So what I believe is going to happen, and what we believe is going to happen, is that the shift is going to be that if local businesses are supporting the consumer that is loyal to them, then it's like 70 times more likely to buy again. So local businesses are figuring out how to support those local folks in the community with the best deals. And that's really that's how they combat it. So if they know you, and they know that you come to the store, by that retention rate, that's what's keeping them healthy, right? So your business, if you're able to identify your best customers or your most loyalist customers and giving them the best deals, that's the best bet, because that's the best margin you're going to make. People are actually willing to pay more money for those things.
And the best service, too. Now, I'm not running down a big box store. I don't think it'd be difficult for people to figure out what I'm talking about here. But I have a hardware store in my town that I frequent because, number one, I know where products are inside the store. And if I don't, I know the people inside the store that can direct me to where the products are that I'm looking for. And if they're not there, they promise, we'll have this in probably tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. And invariably they do. And I think service is so important now, because in some of these big box stores, you can't find anybody to help you.
Oh, yeah. And the employee, that for sure, right? So here's a slogan that we came up with during the pandemic, which was telling people to stop buying from people they didn't know and only buy from people that they did. And if you sort of go further with that, it's really about understanding your problem, your community, and what's the best product for those things, right? So it's not always the trend. It's literally in your hardware store. You were given probably the right solution and the right product, right? So people are willing to pay for that.
Right.
Whereas when you're doing it online, you're just randomly picking something based on cost.
Is the biggest problem for small businesses, and maybe they're co-equals, I don't know, but is the biggest problem online, Amazon, online, big box stores, the Targets of the world, or is the biggest problem for a small business in this day and age a big box store that exists within their own neighborhood? Are they co-equals, or is one more of a problem than the other?
So I would say that the biggest problem with small business is cash flow, right? So everything you just said there impacts cash flow. So if you impact inventory, which means you have to only change the price, you don't know when you're going to get paid and being able to protect that margin. So if you have competition that's local, or you have competition that's coming from e-commerce, again, that's price competition. So it's always going to come down to cash flow in small business, right? It's 85% of small businesses is pass fail or keeps their doors open based upon how effective they are at managing cash flow. So I would tell you all of the above impact small businesses. That's really the issue, right? The issue is everything you're talking about. The person who pays is the small business owner, and the person who is being hurt the worst is the small business owner. And the consumer only sees the higher price. But the person Sheehan, that's responsible for that is the small business owner.
Tomme Sheehan is our guest, expert on small business, CEO of a company called YOUnion, and that is spelled YOUnion. By the way, when people go to that website, what do they find?
They find a platform, a digital platform that's for small businesses to teach small businesses the best way to actually use digital. Mm-hmm. It's focused on retention of customer and the reduction of price to reduce the cost to the owner. Yeah. And it's a POS system for small business that's free to the owner.
I hear a lot, and it's all anecdotal, friends, whatnot, people that I bumped into, and the pandemic has caused a lot of them to reevaluate what they do in life. Maybe they were in the service industry, maybe they were in sales. It could have been anything. And the conversation invariably, when you drill down on it, is, I'd really like to work for myself. I'd really like to have my own business. How difficult is it right now, Tomme, in this day and age, for someone who has an idea for a business or wants to buy an existing business, a small business in their neighborhood? How difficult is it to get money? How difficult is it to get that business up and going compared to where it might have been pre-pandemic, where obviously this economy, although it's doing well on a number of different levels, on certain levels, when you get right down to what happens inside a house and around a kitchen table, it may not be doing all that well. How difficult is it for someone who wants to start or buy an existing small business?
So pre-pandemic, it was something that we pretty much had a good understanding of. Hard work. You could go to the local bank, get a loan. And if you made pizza, or you made hot dogs, or you wanted to be a maid, or you were an electrician, you could basically advertise that in the local community, and you could get started for very little. What the Internet's done and what the pandemic's done by changing the consumer's behavior is everybody is expected to have a presence online and expected to have a digital solution. Mm-hmm. So that immediately changes the game, because now if you're, a skilled laborer, or you are somebody at home who's having a part-time job, or, you want to do a homemaker, you want to do something that's based upon your time and your credibility, you need to also understand technology. You also need to understand advertising. You need to understand SEO and SEM. Basically the alphabet soup associated with tech stack, with technology businesses, right? Yeah. So I would say it's extremely difficult, because you're being told that you have to go to Yelp for your reputation. You have to do SEO for Google to be able to be found on the Internet. You have to be able to understand a platform like Shopify or Amazon, and you need to be able to manage all of that while you're trying to build your electrical, being an electrician or a plumber.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a minefield full of things that cost money.
Yeah.
That if you don't do it correctly, right, you're wasting that money and you're not getting the return on it.
Yeah. So, right. No. Yeah. Absolutely. The big box guys, they can go get a guy. That guy comes in, and maybe there's an electrical problem. You own your own business, as you just say. There's an electrical problem. You're pretty much trying to fix it yourself. And this is why today is so important. I don't know if you're familiar with Cincinnati, but Cincinnati is not a big town. It's a collection of small neighborhoods, and each one of those neighborhoods have specific shops that are germane to that. It may be food in one neighborhood, it may be services in another, maybe a hardware store, maybe a bakery, it may be something else. And that's why today is so important. Show the colors, but long term, remember that after today comes and goes, those places are still there, and they still need our help. Tomme Sheehan, other than your website, how can people find you? Is that the best way in for you? Somebody that has a question about a startup or about a company that's struggling, a little business here in the greater Cincinnati area that's struggling? Is that the best entree into you?
Yeah, join YOUnion.com is literally it's a plethora of information about small business. And I'll just tell you this: I'm a kid from the south side of Chicago, right? So I'm from a neighborhood, and I was actually retired, living in Brazil. I'd come back up to the south side to take my mother had passed. So it was those small businesses, right? The takeouts, the pickups, the arts and crafts folks, the people who have their little yard sales. That's what we built this product for them, and it just ended up growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And ultimately, what you find out is that there is nobody who built a solution for small business owners. Like nobody actually built it for them; they built it for the marketplaces. Mm-hmm. So, with that in mind, the website will teach you about, how you do risk. What's the best places to get money? How do you actually protect your margin? Right? How do you bundle products? Who your best customer is? There's an AI engine that does all of that for small business. Basically, I've taken on the risk of running that business. If we're not charging the owner, we take on that risk of managing that cash flow. So if there's something that's wrong, we have to be able to fix it so that they don't have to worry about the technology. That's sort of what it is.
Yeah, fantastic. Tomme Sheehan, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. We like guys from the south side of Chicago, so let's not be strangers, okay? All right?
I appreciate it, Ken. You guys have a good day. Thank you very much.
There he is.